We got all of our sealing parts on order. So the two glands there, we got them cleaned up, but the inside here where the wiper and the rod gland goes, that area is pretty heavily rusted in both of these glands. So I'm going to use my evaporust here. We've got a container that we will set these guys down in and just fill it up with some evaporust and let them soak overnight, and that'll completely eliminate all the rust that's inside those glands right there. There's just a little bit on the outside right there as well on this lip. So that'll be just a super easy way to remove the rust off those seal glands. So it's the next morning after we put the hydraulic glands in the container here to soak in evaporust. So let's see how they did. They look great. It looks like I still have some residue in there from the rubber seal that I need to see about cleaning out. So I should be able to get in there with just a little wire brush, basically, and just scrub that residue out of there. But you can see that it got all the rust off the gland up here. Looks pretty good. Well, I just got to scrub them. So that one looks good. And that one looks good too. Nice, easy way to remove rust out of parts like that. So, and then we just take that right there, and you can either save it in the container, but it's easiest just to go ahead and pour it back in the original container there and save it, so the next time you need it, it's there. All right, guys, we got our new seals in from CRC. They even sent me a new catalog since I was using the old the old Hercules hydraulic book. But as I was saying in the previous clip, these books are the same. You know, it's the same thing. You see the pictures, they're all the same. So if you get you one of these catalogs like this, it's a really handy reference to have. I like having the book. Now, they try to get people to go to the website, which is great because they have everything on here. You can go right to their website. But I like having a book so that you can do this right here. You come out here to the table while you're working on your parts here, and then you got your seals, you know, that you're trying to identify, and you can come right here to the book, find the parts you need, write them down, then go to the computer and then order it directly from there. You can even, you know, see this is a 2015 catalog. So this is old, but all the parts in here are still relevant. The only difference each year is that they probably add new parts and new cylinders for newer equipment to their inventory there. But other than that, all these parts are always going to be the same. All right. So thank you, CRC, for that. They also have all the material that you need. So if you need to order ductile iron to make these, they got that, chrome rod, heavy wall mechanical tubing. And I even ordered me a piece of 2-inch honed ID tubing. This is for a personal project. I want to make some sleeves for my 2-inch Aloris boring bar. So this is 2-inch by 2.5. I need to skin the OD just a little bit to fit the multi-fix boring bar holder. You know, when it will be cut to length, I'm going to split it. So it's just a split bushing. But material like that, super handy to have to be able to just call them up and order exactly what you need because they sell it by the inch. You know, so nice handy stuff to have. And give them a follow over on Instagram. CRC Distribution is their Instagram, and they like to show cool photos of hydraulic cylinder fails out in the field and things like that. Also, Kevin the Frenchie loves to pose on a lot of the photos, getting the material packaged up and ready to ship out. So great page to go over there and follow. So anyway, we got all of our seals here. I need to just kind of go through them and verify them. I haven't done that yet to make sure that they're all the same. There's our wipers, our wear bands. This is our backups, rod O-ring, gland O-ring. This is going to be, you can't see them, but that's our piston seals. This is our rod seals right there. And then our other gland O-rings right there. So it looks like everything just like I ordered. So we're going to go ahead and jump back onto this and start getting these cylinders back together. Okay, we're set up in the manual lathe. I took a piece of stock and just quickly turned a mandrel for this piston to fit on, a 7/8 shank there, and then I threaded it for a 3/4 10 flange nut. So we've got our grooving tool here centered up. All we've got to do is take 10/1000ths out of the diameter of that piston groove there. The width is already right, but we'll have to widen it out because our tool is more narrow than the width of the groove. But that's all it is, just 10/1000ths out of the bottom, and then feed it across 8/1000ths to touch the other side. So I've got everything set up using my DRO up here. We'll come into our I've got an actual diameter. I think it's right there. 2-inch 119. We need 2-inch 108, 109. So I've got our dimensions written down right there. So our groove diameter 2.108. Just go in 10/1000ths. Just like that, and then we'll feed over to the right 8/1000ths to clean it up, and then right back out. It's really all it is. You could probably even get away with not even having to do that if you didn't have a lathe nearby and you needed to get that seal in there, because it'll compress that O-ring down in there. Let me go ahead and see if we actually hit our size. Well, it moved when I pulled it out, but I'm reading 2.109. I was at 2.109 right there before I pulled it out, so that's going to be good enough because you have a plus or minus tolerance of 2/1000ths on that groove diameter. So that one's done. We'll just go ahead. I'm going to back the tool out a little bit, and I'll show you what I mean with our little mandrel here. Let's see if I can get this without hitting the camera. Doesn't take much pressure at all. All right, that is just a simple little mandrel. I just thought it was easier and a little bit more clean to do this versus trying to chuck this in a chuck and getting it all indicated straight. I'm going to go ahead and start getting all the seals installed on the piston and in the glands. For lubricant, I like using the red Staplex grease. It works good. Now, these are the ones that are usually kind of a bear to get on there, and as you get them on there, they kind of stretch and kind of pull out of size. They make a tool like a hose clamp that you can squeeze around it, and it kind of pulls it back into size. But usually whenever the groove is really close to the edge of the piston like that, and you have a good radius like that or a bevel, they usually go on a lot easier. So hopefully these are just going to pop on, but it does help if you go ahead and just put a little bit of grease or oil. You can use hydraulic oil for this as well. And let's see if we can get it to snap on, get it started on one side, and just kind of work your way around. All right, and it rolled on us, which you don't want it to roll, but if you work it, usually if you work it, I'm going to use this round ice pick here. There it goes. Just use a round edge there to push it in. So we got that in. It worked out. All right, here's your wear band. All right, so that's it for the piston. We just have to make sure that we put our O-rings on the rod, and that goes in that groove right there and seals the oil from coming through the rod. All right, so we'll get on our glands now. I want to put a little bit of grease up inside the groove there. All right, there's our rod seal. So sometimes you can actually get these guys in there without having to put lube on it, but it helps if you put a little bit there. I do have the little twister tools that you can use to put these in, and unfortunately they're still at the home shop. I forgot to bring them down, but we should be able to push the seal up in here, hopefully. Hopefully the camera won't make a liar of me.
Last little bit.
There it goes. Popped right in place. So soft plastic in there, not nothing sharp. Just make sure you put it in the right direction. You want your seal to go that direction there. All right, and then we got, this is our ST150 wiper. All right. Those things fit in those grooves really tight. There you go. Just got to manipulate it, push it in there. So there's our wiper and our seal, rod seal. Now on the outside, we have here's our 575 backup. I believe this was a 330. I can't remember what we had put down now. Is a 330. I don't know which bag it was. We'll put our wiper on, or I'm sorry, our backup on first. Push it to the back. And our O-ring is going to go on there. So this is what seals your pressure from coming through this area of the gland and out the threads. So that is almost done. We have one more O-ring that goes up to there, and this helps seal moisture from coming into the threads, into the gland there. There we are. One repacked gland ready to go onto the rod. We'll go ahead and start getting the rod and glands all back together. We got our rod O-ring right here. Put just a little bit right here to help the seals slide up on the chrome rod. And that's where it's important. You got to have a nice machined bevel there so that the wiper can start up over that. If you don't have a bevel, it won't start. You just start nice and straight. Push it up on there. You should have a good amount of friction there holding that thing, keeping it from moving. That's what you want. All right, and the other thing I want to do, I'm going to put some anti-seize on these threads right here. This is a ductile iron gland going into a steel tube. So we'll just use some of this anti-seize right here. All right, now we're going to put our piston on, groove for the O-ring to the inside, and that should squeeze right up in there just like that. And then we've got our lock nuts that we go on there with. All right, that one's ready to go back into the barrel. What we'll do is put just a little bit grease here on the piston. That'll help everything slide together as you push it up into the barrel there. And I usually make sure I have some grease on that O-ring there as well to help it go up in and spin. All right, one more to do and we'll be ready to put these together. All right, we're going to go ahead and get our rod pushed back into the tube. So there is a bevel machined in there from the factory so that it allows these seals to slide in there. I take just a little dab of grease and just rub it around in there since we cleaned the barrel. So it's got a little bit of lubricant, but it should just push right on in there. Get it started. And you can kind of get it right, I'm down here on the end with the rod eye. You just kind of rotate it a little bit. You see it pushes right on in there. Going into our rod gland. And we got our spanner. And as you start screwing this in, it'll start getting tight because it's compressing on that O-ring. Right there, it's starting to get tight. And that is it. I'm just going to give it a few bumps with the soft blow here to kind of lock it. That should be all it needs right there. Take our rod and go ahead and push it all the way in there. Now you got a nice tight cylinder, brand new tight seals in there. And this is ready to go back into service. There we go, one down, one to go. These, I always love it whenever we have to work on these kind of cylinders because they usually come apart pretty easy. The parts are pretty well standard, so they're easy to replace, and it's simple getting it back together. So this particular one has been fairly easy to work on. All right, guys, well, this hydraulic job is finished up. Our 2 loader cylinders were pretty simple. They came apart pretty easy to size up the seals and the parts that we needed for them and getting it back together, and they are ready to go. Unfortunately, that one just wanted to be the problem. Pretty sure that the aluminum threads are galled inside that tube there. So it's gonna take a lot of work, a lot of labor to get that apart. They are simply just going to replace that cylinder right there, okay? A lot of cases like that, it's more economical when you have damage like that to just go ahead and buy a new cylinder and replace it versus the shop labor that it takes to get something apart, make new component parts, and put it back together. But these were pretty easy, and I like showing these kind of jobs here because a lot of you guys out there watching probably have a tractor, you have some kind of ag equipment that's got hydraulics on it, and I'm showing you that it's pretty simple with basic tools. If you have a vise, a stand, or some kind of way that you can fix it and hold it, you know, have some spanner wrenches that you can use to unscrew the glands, get apart, and then you can use a source like, you know, CRC Distribution to find your seals that you need, get them ordered, and you can rebuild these things yourself in a lot of cases. So if you've never worked on one before, give it a shot. You'd be surprised at how simple it can be. It just takes a little bit of understanding of the, you know, the parts that go in there and how to size everything and find the ones that you're needing. I mean, even if you can't find these yourself in the book or online, if you can write down the dimensions of the grooves, you can call people like CRC and they will help you find the parts that you're needing to fit your application, all right? And these usually aren't very expensive to buy either. So if you can do one of these yourself, you can rebuild these cylinders for, let's just say, less than $100. You can rebuild these yourself if you've got the tools to do it there. So hopefully that'll help out somebody that's watching the videos. That's why I like to share this kind of stuff, to share the knowledge, and maybe that'll help somebody with their own equipment out there, all right? So that's it for this job. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and we'll see you again very soon.